Stephanie, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And this is the Word Cloud Classics edition, but I did read my special edition that I have. It's the Franklin Library edition. My aunt gave this to me and I just love it. It's so special. This is a very, I don't want to use the word controversial, but I feel like people either really, really love it or they really hate it. And I completely understand why someone would not like this book. I think part of the problem is people go into it expecting this epic love story, and that's kind of how the movies come across, but it's actually a story about revenge. This book opens with a diary entry from Mr. Lockwood. He has recently moved to this area of Yorkshire, and one night he ends up in this like snowstorm and he can't go home, and he ends up staying with his neighbors. He ends up getting told the story of Wuthering Heights by a woman named Nellie Dean. So the first half of the book talks about Heathcliff and Catherine Earnshaw and their relationship, and the second half of the book focuses on their descendants. This story is about the owner of the house, Heathcliff, and he was actually adopted by this man Earnshaw. Even though he was adopted by this man, he really was still kind of at the bottom of the barrel. He wasn't accepted like the rest of the family members. Heathcliff didn't really get along with the family, so Kathy Earnshaw and her brother Hindley, and Heathcliff and Hindley really did not get along. After the father dies, Heathcliff is really pushed into a subordinate position. He just is not happy about it. However, he does end up really connecting with Kathy, and the story goes from there. This was a reread for me, but it's been so long since I've read it that I didn't remember what happened. And I feel like now that I'm older and I've graduated with my English degree and I've read so many more classics since I read this book, I feel like I really got a lot more out of it than I did the first time I read it. And the first time I read it, I went in thinking it was a love story, and I still really enjoyed it, but I kind of felt like I was missing something, if that makes sense. But this time I went in knowing it was a revenge story, and oh my gosh, this was just so well done. Emily Bronte did such a good job at making the setting and the landscape a mirror to what is happening in the book. So it's set in the moors, and it really fits the mood of the book. The other thing I really loved is that Wuthering Heights as a house makes you feel claustrophobic the way she wrote it, and it made you feel kind of trapped, which really mirrored what a lot of the characters felt when they were in Wuthering Heights. Whereas the other house, Thrushcross Grange, really felt more of a home. So you really got a little bit of a break when you visited that house. I just found it so interesting because, number one, Heathcliff, which I didn't catch this the first time I read it, is actually described as a person of color. And take that with a grain of salt, because in that time period, a person of color might have been black, or they might have been another European, like from Italy or Greece, or somebody not British. I think it really fits with how he was treated in this book, and it made a lot more sense why he wasn't fully accepted by the family. A trope of Victorian literature is kind of, if you're not Victorian or British, you're usually the bad guy. And so that really matched what was going on with Heathcliff. I really liked the idea she explored of the traits of the parents are passed on to the kids. At least that's how the social mindset was in this book. It's amazing because these people are so completely despicable and horrible and unlikable, but the way she wrote them, I wanted to know what happened to them and how the story progressed and where they would all end up. From a writing standpoint, I feel like if you can do that and make readers feel something for these completely horrible people, then that's just brilliant. I also just found Heathcliff fascinating. Like, he has this great love for Catherine Earnshaw. At the end of the first part of the book, she dies, or she's dead, and he just carries this torch and this love for her throughout the entire novel. I can't even review this book. Like, there's just so much. Even though the mindset was, if the parents are horrible, the children are going to be horrible, I feel like certain characters in this book, in the second part, really kind of broke that and kind of ended the cycle, so to speak. So even though this whole novel was really bleak and dark and hard to read at times, it ended on a very hopeful note. And I really like that mindset of, you know, accepting your past but moving away from it in the future and becoming your own person. And I think that's still relevant today. Like, you may have horrible parents, but you're able to rise above it and become a good person or break out of that cycle. I can't even talk about an individual character because they were just horrible. All of these people were horrible and whiny, but I don't want that to be a deterrent because I feel like this is a really rich book. I feel like if you go into it with the mindset of this is a revenge story, not a romance, it just completely changes the way you read it, and I feel like that affects how you feel about the book afterward. It's just beautiful. There's one line, and I won't tell you where it is because if you know who speaks it, it kind of spoils it, but it says, "I lingered round them under that benign sky, watched the moths fluttering among the heath and harebells, listened to the soft wind breathing through the grass, and wondered how anyone could ever imagine unquiet slumbers for the sleepers in that quiet earth." And there's just so many beautiful lines and descriptions in this book. So I highly recommend. I know this book review is kind of all over the place, but I don't want to spoil anything. Even though it's a classic, I don't want to spoil anything. So I just feel like I got so much more out of it this time, and I feel like when I reread it again in the future, I'll get even more. So I think that's just a sign of a really well-written piece of literature. So have you read this? If so, let me know. Did you hate it? Do you love it? Are you interested in reading it? Let me know. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.